Welcome to my channel, Rise Up with Steve. Please hit like, subscribe, and don't forget to share with your friends. You know, too often I see good women put their whole lives into a relationship. They focus on being the perfect girlfriend, the perfect partner, the perfect wife, hoping that somehow their life will start through someone else. And I gotta tell you something, that's a mistake. Because here's the truth. A man cannot complete what you refuse to build in yourself. You can't outsource your happiness. You can't wait for someone else to fix your life. The women who thrive, women who shine, women who are unstoppable, they build themselves first. They build a life that they love with or without someone else. She built her life, not a relationship. That's powerful. It means she focused on her education, her career, her passion. She invested in her growth, her health, her friendships, and her purpose. She didn't wait for a partner to validate her worth. She recognized her own. And here's another thing, when you build your life first, relationships come as a bonus, not as a necessity. People are attracted to those who have direction, ambition, and self-respect. A man is not going to value what you don't value in yourself. If you don't respect your time, your energy, and your dreams, someone else sure won't. She built her life. And in doing so, she created an environment where love can thrive not out of need, but out of abundance. She knows her worth. She knows what she brings to the table. And because of that, any relationship she enters becomes about mutual growth, not about filling voids. So, if you're out there waiting for someone to make your life meaningful, stop. Stop looking outside when the power is within you. Build your life. Pursue your dreams, master your craft, create your joy. And I promise you love will show up. But it will never be the reason you wake up every morning. She didn't just wait. She didn't just hope. She built. And in that building, she became unstoppable. You know, I got to tell you something that most people don't want to hear, but it's the truth. Too many women good, smart, beautiful women spend their entire lives trying to make a relationship work, thinking that if they just love hard enough, if they just give enough, if they just sacrifice enough, everything else will fall into place. And I'm here to tell you that's a mistake. You can't build your life through someone else. You can't outsource your happiness and expect someone else to fix what's missing inside of you. That's not how life works. A man, no matter how amazing he is, cannot complete what you refuse to build in yourself. Think about it. How many times have you seen a woman chase a man, pour all her energy into him, and then feel lost when he doesn't match her effort? How many times have you seen someone put their dreams, their goals, their ambitions, their joy on hold because they were waiting for someone else to show up and make it all better? I've seen it too many times, and it's heartbreaking because women are more than a relationship. You are a full life in yourself. You are a story, a purpose, a force to be reckoned with. And the women who are truly unstoppable, the women who shine even when the world tries to dim their light, they didn't wait for someone else to validate them. They built their life first. When I say she built her life, I don't just mean she went to work every day. I mean she invested in herself. She learned new skills. She pursued her passions. She surrounded herself with people who lift her up. She focused on her health, her mental strength, her spiritual growth, and her happiness. She understood that her life doesn't start because a man shows up. Her life starts with her. And because of that, she became magnetic, not because she was desperate for love, but because she had something to offer the world. She became someone worth loving, someone who commands respect just by existing. And let me tell you this, when you build your life first, relationships come as a bonus. They become something beautiful, something that adds to your life, not something that you need to survive. People are naturally drawn to ambition, passion, and self-respect. If you don't respect your own time and energy, if you don't value your own goals, you can't expect someone else to do it for you. A man isn't going to appreciate what you don't appreciate in yourself. You got to put yourself first. You got to create a life that you love, waking up to every single day. And when you do, love doesn't feel like a burden, it feels like a reward. And here's the thing that most people miss. Building your life doesn't mean you close yourself off to love. It doesn't mean you push people away or stop caring about relationships. It means you approach love differently. You enter relationships from a place of strength, not need. You bring your whole self to the table, not just a half-empty plate hoping someone else will fill it. You love because it feels good, because it adds value, because it enhances what's already amazing in your life. And that's the kind of love that lasts. That's the kind of love that doesn't make you lose yourself, that doesn't make you settle, that doesn't leave you wondering if you're enough. You are enough. You always have been. So stop waiting for someone to complete you. Stop hoping that a relationship will finally make your life meaningful. The women who thrive, the women who create joy, stability, and purpose, they build themselves first. They invest in their future, their growth, their happiness. They wake up every morning with a vision for their life, and anyone who comes along is lucky to join the journey, not lucky to rescue them. That's what it means to build your life, not a relationship. That's how you become unstoppable to unshakable and undeniably magnetic. Let me tell you something that most people don't understand. There are women out there who spend so much of their time, energy, and emotion on someone else that they forget to build their own lives. They focus on being the perfect partner, the perfect girlfriend, hoping that love alone will give their life meaning. And I've got to tell you, that's a trap. You cannot build a life through a relationship. You cannot rely on someone else to define who you are, to decide your value, or to make you happy. That is your job. That is your responsibility. A woman who is unstoppable, who is truly thriving, is a woman who built herself first. She built a life that she loves, a life she is proud of, a life that excites her every single day. She didn't wait for someone else to arrive to start living. She started living on her own. You see, it's too common for women to wait. They wait for the right man, the right opportunity, the right timing. And while they're waiting, life passes them by. They put their education, their career, their dreams on hold, thinking that someone else will fill in the gaps. But here's the truth: if you wait, you miss. If you put your life on hold for a relationship, you are essentially telling yourself that your happiness depends on someone else. And that is dangerous. You have to realize that the women who are truly empowered, who are respected, who are admired, they didn't wait for someone else to create their life. They built it themselves. They invested in themselves, in their growth, in their dreams. They created their own opportunities, their own joy, and their own fulfillment. Building your life first doesn't mean you don't care about relationships. It doesn't mean you close yourself off from love. What it does mean is that you approach love differently. You approach it from a place of strength, not need. When you have a life that excites you, when you know your worth, when you have passions and ambitions that fill your soul, you attract the right kind of people. You attract people who compliment you, not people who try to complete you. Because a relationship should enhance your life, not define it. Love should add to your happiness, not be the source of it. And let me tell you something about respect and attraction. People respect what you respect. If you don't value your time, your energy, and your dreams, no one else will. You have to put yourself first. You have to make yourself a priority. You have to invest in your own growth. You have to chase your own goals, your own passions, your own purpose. When you do that, you become magnetic. You become someone who attracts, not out of desperation, but out of abundance. And that is the kind of energy that leads to healthy, empowering, and lasting relationships. She built her life first, and because of that, she became unstoppable. She woke up every morning with purpose. She created joy for herself and those around her. She didn't need a relationship to validate her, because she already validated herself. She knew her worth. She knew her power. Anyone who enters her life is entering a life that is full, a life that is thriving, a life that is already complete. That is what it means to build your life, not a relationship. That is how you become strong, independent, and truly magnetic. Let me be real with you for a minute, because too many women don't hear this enough. There's a lie out there that says your life only starts when you find the right man. That somehow Love is the key that unlocks your happiness, your success, your purpose. And I've seen it happen too many times. Women waiting, hoping, bending over backward to fit someone else's world, all while their own world sits on hold. That is not how life works. You cannot build your life through a relationship. You cannot expect someone else to fill the gaps inside of you. A woman who is truly strong, truly unstoppable, is a woman who builds herself first. She builds a life that she loves, a life that excites her, a life she can stand in and say, this is mine, and I am proud of it. She doesn't wait for anyone to show up to start living. Too many women waste years focusing on someone else's schedule, someone else's dreams, someone else's happiness. And in the process, they neglect their own. They think that if they just love hard enough, if they just give enough, if they just wait long enough, the universe will reward them with love and fulfillment. But I'm telling you, that's backwards. You don't build your life on hope. You don't chase love at the expense of yourself. The women who are unstoppable don't wait, they invest. They invest in their education, their career, their skills, their passions. They create opportunities for themselves. They take control of their growth. They chase joy. And when they do that, they're no longer waiting, they're living. Now hear me on this, building your life first doesn't mean you're selfish. It doesn't mean you don't want love. What it does mean is that you approach love from a place of strength, not need. You enter relationships fully alive, fully engaged, fully confident in who you are. You don't need someone else to validate your worth because you've already done it yourself. You don't settle for scraps because you know what you bring to the table. You don't compromise your dreams because you understand that your life is yours to create, and a relationship should enhance that, not limit it. And here's the thing most people miss. When you build your life, love becomes a bonus, not a necessity. People are drawn to women who have ambition, purpose, and energy. They are drawn to women who are confident, fulfilled, and unstoppable. If you don't respect your own time, your own energy, your own goals, you cannot expect anyone else to do it for you. You have to put yourself first. You have to create a life worth living, and that is the kind of energy that attracts the right kind of people. Not people who take from you, but people who complement you. Not people who fill a void, but people who add to your abundance. She built her life first, and in doing so, she became magnetic. She woke up every morning with purpose. She created her own joy. She invested in herself. She became someone who commands respect, admiration, and love, not because she needed it, but because she already had it. And when love enters her life, it enters as a bonus, enhancing her life, not defining it. That's what it means to build your life, not a relationship. That's what it means to be unstoppable. That's how you become strong, confident, and truly magnetic in a world full of distractions and false promises. Let me tell you something that a lot of people don't want to hear but need to understand. Too many women spend their entire lives pouring themselves into someone else, thinking that love alone will complete them. They focus on being the perfect partner, the perfect girlfriend, hoping that somehow someone else's presence will make their life meaningful. And I've seen it happen over and over. Good women, smart women, giving women sacrificing their time, their energy, their goals, all while waiting for someone else to show up and make it right. But I'm telling you, that's the wrong way to live. You cannot rely on someone else to define your happiness. You cannot wait for a man to validate your worth. A woman who is truly unstoppable builds herself first. She builds a life she can stand in and be proud of, with or without anyone else. Too many women mistake love for life itself. They think that if they find the right man, everything else will fall into place. And I'm here to tell you that is backwards. A relationship is not the foundation of your life. A relationship is an addition to a life that is already full. If you are not whole on your own, if you do not know your worth, if you do not have your own dream and passions, then any relationship you enter will be built on need, dependence, and insecurity. That's not attractive. That's not powerful. You have to build yourself first. You have to invest in your own growth. You have to create a life that excites you, challenges you, and fulfills you. Building your life first doesn't mean you stop caring about love. It doesn't mean you close yourself off from relationships. What it does mean is that you approach love differently. You approach from a position of strength, not need. When your life is already full, when your career is growing, your dreams are alive, your health and happiness are priorities, you attract people who complement you, not people who try to complete you. You bring your full self to the table. You love freely because you are already complete, and that kind of love is powerful, transformative, and magnetic. And let me remind you of something. Most people forget respect and attraction, follow confidence. People are drawn to energy. They are drawn to passion, ambition, and purpose. If you do not respect your own time, energy, and goals, no one else will. You have to make yourself a priority. You have to chase your own dreams. You have to create your own joy. When you do that, you become magnetic. You become someone who attracts not out of desperation, but out of abundance. That is the kind of energy that leads to healthy, fulfilling, and lasting relationships. She built her life first, and in the process, she became unstoppable. She woke up every day with purpose. She created joy for herself and for those around her. She invested in herself and in her future. She became someone who commands respect, admiration, and yes, love, not because she needed it, but because she had already created it for herself. When love enters her life, it enters as a gift, as something that enhances her already full and vibrant life. That is what it means to build your life, not a relationship. That is how a woman becomes strong, independent, confident, and truly magnetic. That is how she thrives in a world full of distractions, false promises, and misplaced expectations. Let me tell you something that most people don't want to admit, but it's the truth. Too many women spend their lives waiting for someone else to make them feel complete. They pour their energy, their emotions, their time into someone else, hoping that love alone will give them purpose. They sacrifice their dreams, their goals, their happiness, thinking that one day the right person will show up and finally make it all worthwhile. And I've seen it too many times, good women, smart women, ambitious women losing themselves in the process. But here's the reality. A man cannot give you what you have not already built for yourself. You cannot rely on a relationship to define your value or your success. You have to build yourself first. You have to build a life that excites you, a life you can stand in and say, this is mine and I did it. She built her life, not a relationship, and that is what makes her unstoppable. Too often, women think that love is the destination, that a relationship is what completes them. And I'm here to tell you that thinking is backwards. Love is not the foundation of your life, it is the addition. If you are not whole, if you do not have your own passions, your own purpose, your own joy, then any relationship you enter will be built on need, on emptiness, on dependence. That is not attractive. That is not empowering. The women who thrive, the women who command respect, the women who are truly magnetic, they don't wait. They invest in themselves. They pursue their dreams. They grow their skills. They nurture their passions. They make their life meaningful, and then they let love come in as a bonus, something that enhances what is already remarkable. Building your life first doesn't mean you close yourself off to love. It doesn't mean you stop wanting a partner or caring about relationships. What it does mean is that you enter relationships from a place of strength, from a place of completeness, when your life is already full, when your purpose is alive, when your passions are burning bright. You attract people who complement you. You don't settle for someone to fill gaps. You don't compromise your dreams to hold a relationship together. You bring your full self, your vision, your energy, your confidence. That is the kind of presence that draws respect and love. That is the kind of energy that creates lasting, healthy, and empowering relationships. And let me tell you something else. People are drawn to confidence, to ambition, to purpose. They respect what you respect. If you don't value your own time, energy, and goals, no one else will. You have to make yourself a priority. You have to chase your dreams. You have to create joy and meaning for yourself. When you do that, you stop chasing people, you stop begging for validation, and you start attracting the right kind of love, the kind that adds to your life, not the kind that tries to complete you. That is abundance. That is empowerment. She built her life first, and in doing so, she became magnetic. She woke up every day with purpose. She invested in herself. She cultivated her happiness. And she created a life full of passion and fulfillment. When love came, it came as a gift, not as a necessity. She had already created everything she needed inside herself. That is what it means to build your life, not a relationship. That is how a woman becomes strong, independent, confident, and truly unstoppable in a world that constantly tries to tell her she needs someone else to complete her.